Sacré bleu! Et c'est vous, tout à l'heure, on est de chez vous. Aujourd'hui, bienvenue à France. Alors aujourd'hui, nous sommes dans la vallée de la Sioule. C'est dans le centre de France, dans l'Auvergne. Alors, je vais vous montrer aujourd'hui ma petite moto, c'est mon moto favori. Alors, je vais vous montrer aujourd'hui ma favorite moto. Alors après, je vous prendrai une petite promenade dans la vallée de la Sioule. Alors, minute. Never smoked in my life. Aujourd'hui, je porte un bleu de travail traditionnel. I'm wearing the traditional working blue of France. And of course the beret. Right. This is my little bike that I've had over here for many years. Is it going to stay where it is? Perhaps. I'll give you a walk around it and then we're going to go for a little ride. Right, this is my little CL450. I bought it about, I don't know, 8 years ago I suppose. And it's a really, really lovely little bike, and it wasn't when I bought it. It's a one-owner bike. It came from Indiana, and I bought it from the family of the deceased first buyer. And it's only done 4,000 miles, but it hadn't had an easy life. And it was covered with just very, very rusty when I got it, and I was quite disappointed. But I just started to clean up all the rust underneath it. This bike started to come out, and it's a gorgeous bike. I can show you something here that demonstrates the fact it's not an easy life. There's somewhere there's a flat spot on the wheel. There, you see it there. And it's a tiny bit egg-shaped, but so what? It's still on the original tyres, 4,000 mile tyres, and maybe I should change them, but they're not cracked. And for the speeds I go on at these days, it doesn't matter. You know, I probably don't go over 60 any point, and most of the time it's between 30 and 40, especially in the valley. But the chrome's in lovely condition throughout, and it's just my favourite bike. I just really love it, and I'll never ever sell it. So I keep it over here, just for riding in France. And my cousin Stephen comes across with his wife and family, and he potters about on it too. So I think he has as much fun on it as I do. But there we are. Spent a little bit of time just cleaning up the alloy today, just to make it pretty. And it's not run for a year. This is now October in 2021. And the bike hasn't run since August in 2020. So I'm going to pop a new battery in it now, and then I absolutely guarantee this will start straight up. During the spring I took off before I went away last year, I took off the seat, and I took that home and repaired a couple of tears in it, and I put some new rivets in just to make it look pretty. The purists among you will realise that the colour scheme's not correct for a 72 bike. It's a 73 colour scheme, but in 72 colours, but it's my bike and I'm never going to sell it, so I'll have it as I want it. It's just a gorgeous thing, so I'm going to pop a battery on now, and let's just see what it does. Okay, let's pop this battery on. I was going to do this bare arse today, because I've got a tear in the back of my trousers, you might have seen today, but I thought it might get me a strike on YouTube. It's a brand new battery, it's a lead acid variant, because I'm just having no fun at all with gel batteries. I don't really rate them. And I'll put money on this, I put my mortgage on this. I'm not taking the berry off, by the way, that's staying on. I'll put my mortgage on this starting straight up. Such a nice bike. As my preamble in Franglais said, we are now in the valley of the River Sioule, and the River Sioule is, that's S-I-O-U-L-E, and right in the middle of France. And the Sioule's not one of the great rivers, but it empties into the Allier, which is a more important river, which in turn empties into the Loire, which is one of the great rivers of France. But it's a very, very beautiful region. And I'm going to take you right down the valley on this bike. And it'll take about 15 minutes to go down the valley from end to end. And it starts off being pretty, and it gets prettier and prettier. So for those of you who are inclined to watch for 2 or 3 minutes, and then, you know, get bored, please don't, because the ride gets better and better as you go down it. The gorge gets more dramatic with big cliffs either side, and at the end there's a real gem I want to show you. So I think you'll enjoy it. We're not going to go ripping along there, although bear in mind, the camera does tend to make it look like we're going faster than I am. I've lost the strap for this battery, but let's just see what happens. Put some fuel on, and let's just see if this old girl will crank up. Give it a second to fill the carbs up, and then I'll give it a second. Just let it fill the carbs up. And these only want to sniff a choke, and as soon as they fire, you have to knock the choke off. Thought it would. It's a gorgeous bike. So let me get some gear on, and we'll take it right down the valley. I'm going to try and do it on a I've not got a chin mount for my GoPro, so I'm going to try and do it on a chest mount, and let's just see how the film comes out. Let's give it a go. What I'm going to do, I'm going to ride through Auvergne, which will take us about a minute, that's all. It's a very small town, and it's a typical French town in that it's kind of struggling with the post-industrialisation from a time when everybody worked on the land, and this was a really vibrant area. It's like many regions in the UK, or sorry, in the United States and in Europe, in that it's struggling to kind of find its identity and struggling to maintain its population. Auvergne is a brave little town, and it keeps fighting back, and I think it's going to be okay. There's new businesses opening here all the time. The French view of things is that they can tax the big corporations like EDF and Alstom and goodness knows who else a bit more, and pay some more for support of the regions. And there's something in that. There are some things that are worth paying for, and in my view, protecting your people and your cultural heritage is one of the responsibilities of government, rather than being a responsibility for shareholders. And then when I'm getting a bit deep now. So let's crank up the bike and we'll go for a wee ride down the valley. Do stick with it, because it's a lovely ride. It gets nicer and nicer as we go down. That's what happens when you haven't run it for a year. You saw a sign there for the viaduct CL450. They were some viaducts locally that were designed by the same engineer that built the Eiffel Tower. That's the river Sioule. And that's about it for Auvergne. We're just about to go around the corner and we'll turn down the gorge de la Sioule now. bit of construction going on, which is always encouraging. And we are now out of Auvergne. So we'll just head off down the valley now. And it's a lovely, lovely little ride. I won't go over kind of 40 or 45. Unless I overtake this car. Because you know what the back of a car looks like. When you see this road marked on a map, it's always got a green line beside it, which means it's a kind of road of particular scenic beauty. Some wee twisties coming up now. This is the wee village of Perraclos, and we'll be through in about 15 seconds. It's very small, but it's a lovely little village. And we'll see the old school up on the right in a second. The building to the right, kind of nowish. There we go. That was the village school back in the day. And that was Perraclos. But it's a lovely, lovely valley. And the river is beside us most of the way along, and we'll see as we go over this next half a mile or so, we'll see the river appear to our left. The river down there. I hope. That's the Pont de Saint Gall. There's an old boy sits outside his farm down here, and he's quite often sitting there in the back of his old Renault. But I'll have a look and see if he's there today. But you know, such a typical kind of pastoral French area. Bonjour Christian. Bonjour. And once again you can see the river is down to our left. You'll just see it open up in a second. It's a lovely valley. You can see how the beautiful gorge appearing now. tunnel round the corner now. Always makes you think of the Italian job. This hotel that we're going to pass on our, well, across the road in a minute, was just on television the other week. Some guys that took it over on a programme called Hello Brits in France. I don't know if you can see on the bike, it's just over 4,000 miles. Just on 4,000 miles right now. Puy de Dôme region, just leaving Allier. That's Hotel Vendry, it's been closed for about 10 years. Keep hoping it'll come back. Beautiful autumn colours just coming out. And this is a Roman bridge, built presumably about 2,000 years ago, and it was carrying the main traffic until, I don't know, the early part of the last century. Then they built a new bridge, which I'll show you now, but you can still ride over this bridge, and it's really beautiful. And that's the river Sioule, S-I-O-U-L-E. The bike gonna stay there? Yes, I think it is. That's the new bridge over there. You can see it was built presumably sometime early in the 20th century. The river's quite fast flowing today, which is unusual, but there's been presumably a lot of autumnal rain, but it's a lovely river. I'll kind of have a walk down and you can have a look at the bridge from a distance. Look how worn it is either side here from the passage of countless feet and carts and goodness knows what else. Horses and donkeys and cattle and it's lovely, isn't it? I really think it's worth a look. It's a beautiful region and it's somewhat ignored, which isn't a bad thing. It means it's not over touristy. Very French. There's almost no English spoken here, which is great, because it makes you get on and learn. Otherwise we're all lazy and we're all, if they'd speak English we'd let them. The Brits are particularly bad for that. I count myself as such. I'm not saying I'm marvellous by any means. But if you come and buy a property here, you've got to get on and learn the language, so it's a good spur. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. Now let's look at the old bike over the river, and then we'll go home. Cheers guys, speak soon.